Welcome to Cage Minds. I'm your host, Mika Frankl, and we got martial artist, professional Muay Thai fighter, the Mad King, Marc Entenberg, joining us. Sir, thank you for the time. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you? Thanks for having me.
Man, I'm well. Wanted to get in touch with you. Saw you had some news recently. Saw you've been busy during this pandemic. So let's start there. Tell us about your
Yeah.
news.
Yeah, so I signed a multi-fight deal with Lion Fight last week, and it came at a great time. I was kind of in a place of thinking like what was going to be next. Thailand is closed off right now, and I just had my daughter earlier this year, so I wasn't really sure. I had was in talks with them a little bit earlier in the pandemic of possibly getting on any of the shows they might have this year, so it came at a really good time.
We had seen you locally live at Route 66, what seems like
Yes,
forever ago, fight
it
Sean
does.
Baca. At
Yeah.
that point, what was it like with Lion Fights, that relationship? They didn't sign you right away.
Correct, they did not. But it was good. I really liked working with Scott Zur and Scott Kent. They ran things really well. It was kind of, for me, it was a big opportunity just because it was kind of being able to have my American debut and kind of legitimize myself and just go against a really tough fighter like Sean. The guy's really well respected around here. But in terms of working with them and being able to put on a performance for them and kind of reading the articles after where they thought the fight was exciting, that was a big thing for me. Like, I was just super happy that they liked the fight. They liked my style. So yeah, I mean, I had anticipated that I'd be fighting for them again. And we had been in talks. They'd offered me a couple fights last year in the fall. I was unable to take him because I got foot surgery after the Sean fight. So yeah, like I said, I'm glad it worked out because it was almost like playing kind of phone tag with fights, really, because I think they'd offered me two different ones and I couldn't take either. And my foot actually just got better this year, so I was out. I fought twice last year in Thailand, but my foot was not even close to 100%. So I'm really fortunate that it's back to where it is, and I'm super excited to be able to get back to that work with them.
Right, that was the next thing to talk about. After your Lion Fight experience, you did go overseas and go to Thailand for a
Mhm.
bit. What was that like, this trip?
It was good. So it was an interesting time for sure. Right before I left, well, just to rewind a little bit. So after I competed in Lion Fight, I had accepted a training sponsorship at a gym in Thailand. Unfortunately, and that was kind of like, that's been one of my like dreams since the beginning, I guess you could say, along with fighting with Lion Fight. But I was unable to go through with it. I had to keep pushing the date back because we kept trying different things with my foot, and I kept thinking it was going to get better, and then I'd be able to make these timelines. And unfortunately, I wasn't. I was scheduled to fight for Max Muay Thai on my birthday on Halloween, but it fell through because of my foot. So I ended up just going back to where I normally go in Chiang Mai. Um, it was a tough trip, one because of my foot, and then also um, my brother had passed away. My older brother, by a year, passed away about two weeks before I left. So it's definitely kind of a soul searching trip, and um, getting to be able to still compete was definitely a great thing, and kind of get my mind back into it, and kind of being able to get some closure and some alone time really helped a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what did you find? What did you find there in Thailand? What helped you get to a better emotional place?
Yeah, so just being with some of my friends that I had met before was really great, and just kind of getting out of the headspace that I had here. I had so much going on. We're getting ready to have my daughter, my brother passing, just kind of trying to figure stuff out with my foot, but being able to really just dive headfirst back into training and kind of remembering how much I love it. When you're here and you get kind of caught up in stress, you still love it, but you kind of get the emotions mixed together. So being able to kind of just get right back to it, get back to running every day, get back to skipping every day, and just having those 6 to 8 hours of training a day was great. It was kind of just getting back to truly what I love. And then just being able to have that alone space. And, you know, there were hard days, you know, that where you think about what happened and you wonder about it. So just being able to kind of work through those things and was definitely a powerful thing for me. And then kind of coming right back to getting ready to have my daughter and then going right into the pandemic. So I'm glad I was able to take that time and recenter myself.
In all, was it a break that just wouldn't heal? What was going on with the foot?
Sure. So I had broken my foot a few times before, and I had a bunch of little chips and bone fragments in there. So at first, the idea was that I had plantar fasciitis, and then saw a podiatrist, and that wasn't the case. They thought it was one of a few things. So they found a big cyst that wrapped around my ankle, and they thought that it was pressing on a nerve. So really what was happening during training is that I was losing blood flow to my foot. So about like 5 to 10 minutes into training, my foot would just turn white. And then I was pretty much just working on one foot. So I was still standing, but in terms of like my movement and everything, it was just super lagged, super delayed. I'd be in a sparring round and a minute in, I would just be planted there and just be taking shots because I couldn't move. And it was super frustrating too, you know, because we tried a lot of different things. I did a full-on surgery where they took the cyst out, took the bone fragment out. I was out for a month, and I thought that would do it, but it didn't. They still couldn't figure out. We did a bunch of MRIs, muscular-wise. They thought it might be some sort of compartment syndrome. The problem is that they were fairly sure, but they couldn't prove it because the MRI wouldn't show. They have to do a very special MRI where you go into the machine and then you come out halfway through, irritate your foot, and then go back in. And if they see a change, they're able to tell. The problem is that I wasn't really able to. I mean, you're in like a 3x3 room, so being able to train there was way different than being on the mats for an hour or so and getting my foot to that point. So I think they might have been right at the time. But what actually ended up happening was I ended up seeing a second doctor to get a second opinion, and I got a shot that was supposed to ease some of the swelling in my tendons in my foot. And I'm not sure if it was that or just taking the time off during the beginning of the pandemic. I was running every day too. So I was running every day. So I was using that foot a lot. I was rolling it on PVC pipe, and I'd gotten that shot, and the combination of those things worked. So I've been back on it, haven't had any issues with it. And yeah, it's kind of, to me, it was kind of like a miracle in a way, because I had spent almost close to a year, like 8-9 months, trying to figure out not only how to fix it, but what really was going on.
What was the status of the foot during those 2 fights in Thailand?
So it was still compromised, and not to take anything away, like my performances were my performances, but they weren't at, like, how do I say it? Like they weren't the performances I would like. I was still able to move and like do things. The training was the more difficult part. When you have that adrenaline, I was still able to do a bit of my normal style, I guess you could say. But there was definitely still some issues there. And you could kind of even see, like, I think the injury happened in the first or second round when I fought with Sean. Like, if you watch the video back, you can see the way I'm walking. And I remember going to my corner and telling Clay, like, oh, I definitely broke my foot. And we had that same experience when I fought amateur MMA, and I kicked someone in the knee with the top of my foot. And same exact reaction. He was like, I don't want to hear it right now. Like, you're fine. And we got through it. So, but yeah, I mean, it was good to be in there and compete, but in my mind, like, they're not. I had 1 win, 1 loss, and I had fun, and I had a lot of fun in the fight that I lost. And I take nothing away from that fight in the sense of, he did a great job, and it just happens. But yeah, I mean, it was compromised, but it was my choice to do it, and I mean, it was something I needed to do just because I was in such a weird place with everything going on with my brother, everything going on back here. So it was good to get in there and do it regardless.
And we've talked about it before, but can you describe to people what it's like fighting in that atmosphere, fighting Muay Thai in Thailand against the Thai?
Yeah. So, I love it. You know, just the stadiums are awesome. So I haven't been able to fight in a really large stadium yet. I fought at Chiang Mai Boxing Stadium and Taipei Stadium, which are in Chiang Mai. And the thing about the competition is it really depends. You know, sometimes you don't really know who you're fighting because the person on the poster might not be the person that ends up showing up. So really, I like it because that anticipation and anxiety is super strong the whole time, regardless of what the person looks like or who it's going to be. Getting oiled up in the back, just the smell of Thai oil, you know, pretty much being out in the crowd is just a special experience. And then, yeah, there's really nothing like it, like just the sounds from the crowd. And yeah, I mean, it's awesome. In my opinion, I haven't, like, just to be fair, I haven't faced the super tough competition out there. And that's just something that's part of growing, you know? And I don't want to pretend I'm something I'm not. I think I've had fights I'm really proud of, and there's one fight that I had against huge South African guy. So I mean, it's varied in terms of my fights in Thailand, in terms of who I was fighting. But overall, like, I love it. You know, it doesn't really matter who you end up fighting. It's more of that mental thing of getting in the zone and just doing what you have to do regardless. But yeah, I think there's no crowd on earth, in my opinion, that's like the Thais, in the sense of the sounds they make when you land a shot, and just that electricity that's there is something that's super special that you don't really have. I mean, you have it to an extent here, but just not the same.
We're talking to Marc Entenberg. We've talked about his fight career. He's a Muay Thai fighter signed to Lion Fights. Also, a little bit of an entrepreneur, right? We have the Mad Kingdom Insane Supply Company.
Yes. Yep. So that's my clothing brand, and it kind of happened out of nowhere. So I mean, when I did my shirts for Lion Fight, I sold 100 of them super quick, and then I started to think to myself, because the back said Mad Mark, and I was like, not that many people are just going to want to have my name. If I want to sell these shirts, I can't just have my name on the back of them. So I just was playing with names in my head, like, what do I want to call this thing? And I just threw Kingdom in there, and it just kind of worked. So we did another run. I teamed up with a company called Taiga 2, and we had a really great run with two designs we did. We did charity donations. So for most of my beginning shirt designs, we did charity donations based from the profits. And that was something that I always kind of wanted to do, was to have a company that did something like that. Because it wasn't really about like making the money at that point. It was about generating that cause behind what we're doing. So we did a donation to Tingley Children's Hospital, and we did one to the Ocean Conservancy for those two designs. And then before, we had done one to Adaptive. So yeah, I mean, it's been a really fun experience. It's definitely been trickier than I thought. I had friends that did clothing lines, and they told me, like, you have no idea what you're getting in for. And to be honest, they were absolutely right. It's been a trial and error process, especially with the pandemic. And the one thing that we're kind of switching back to now is that we had so much success with just having shirts on hand and selling them here in Albuquerque, and me sending them out through just using my social media. And we tried to kind of capitalize on that by doing a website, and we had just so many options on there that what we noticed is we could see that people were going to the site and we were getting orders, but people would be looking and putting things in their cart and leaving it. And I've had that experience when I go to sites that have so many options that you just start picking things, and then you get overwhelmed, and then you just leave and don't come back. So we've changed that in the way that we're kind of starting to limit our items, limit our quantities, and just do more drops over periods of time. So we just dropped 2 new shirts, and one of them sold out already, and then the other one I anticipate will be sold out fairly soon. It's actually almost the same shirt I did for my fight. It's just a different color, Mad Kingdom on the back. But it's been, you know, it's been just fun to try something new and to have something that's kind of my own. And I think something that's been a good experience about it is that it's been interesting and a good thing for me to be able to not use myself as the face of a company. So I really, when I started, obviously, because it was Mad Mark, it was kind of about me, but I tried to kind of move away from that and been using other fighters. Like right now we're working with Rodney. He's got a fight coming up. We've worked with Louise at Jackson Wink, Jared McLaughlin, or I can't pronounce, I'm sure I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. But anyway, we've worked with quite a few people, Clay Matza out of Factory X. So we've definitely tried to make the face more about the athletes than just something that's about me. Because, I mean, I just think that's a better route to go, if that makes sense. You know, you want it to be something that people want to be part of and that they can take kind of ownership in, you know?
And then who are we giving credit to the design of the apparel that we see there on the website?
Yeah, so that would be Steve Shute. I've worked with him for a long time. We've used the face design for a long time. And yeah, the thing that's nice about working with Steve is that I've noticed the best designs come where I give the littlest input. And what I mean by that is that sometimes, like, I just have to be honest with myself that I'm not a designer and I'm not an artist in that way. Not to say that I might not have some good ideas from time to time, but that's his job. And I kind of just tell him like what I'm thinking in terms of like fonts or just little tips. But I always say, you know, do whatever you want and I'm sure it's going to come out great. And that's what's happened is when I haven't been specific and just let him run with it, he's so creative and just kind of does a great job. So kind of it worked out really well.
You've mentioned it a few times earlier in the interview, a major change in your life. Now, a father. How has that been, fatherhood?
It's been great. It was something that I didn't expect. It was unexpected, but I'm super happy about it. Absolutely love my daughter, obviously, but you know, it's been something special that they kind of brought light into the pandemic because I got to spend and have been able to spend so much time with her. But it's definitely given me a motivation to work harder, and even in fighting, you know, like I want to make her proud, and like I want her to be able to look at the things I do, and I want to inspire her in that way. So yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with it, you know, and yeah, she definitely brings a lot of joy to my day and a lot of motivation to everything I'm doing now. And yeah, I mean, it's been great. And I look forward to, as she gets older, being able to train with her. And I'm sure she's going to have her own aspirations, but just being able to spend time and do things with her, you know, I think it's nice because we're not that far away in age. I mean, obviously we're 27 years apart, but me and my parents and I had a much larger gap between us. So it's kind of hard for us to connect on things because our generations were so different. So I think it'll be kind of a challenging but fun experience to kind of see what things she likes and what things she wants to do and kind of trying to support her in that. I mean, I would be thrilled if she wants to do Muay Thai, don't be wrong, or really any martial art. I definitely want to at least introduce her to it and kind of see how it goes. But whatever she wants to do, I'm going to support her, and me doing this and pursuing my dream and really kind of switching back from working full time and being a student and trying to juggling fighting to now moving back to being, the goal is to be a full-time fighter again, is something that kind of was inspired by her, you know, and me wanting to show what I believe to be possible and something that I want her to be able to look back on and be proud.
Talking with Marc Entenberg. Marc, talk to me about training and what kind of camp you've constructed right now that you're focusing and you've determined fully professionally Muay Thai lion fights.
Yeah. So I currently work with a few different gyms at the moment just because we don't really have I mean, there's Baka fight systems, and I haven't gone there. I've heard great things, but other than that, there's not really a Muay Thai program in town per se. I mean, there's Muay Thai classes at MMA gyms, but not really like when I go to Thailand and it's all Muay Thai and it's a very specific kind of training. But in terms of what I do, so I do my running and strength and conditioning I do my strength and conditioning performance ranch. I do running every day on my own. And then Coach E, Latrell E's been holding pads for me, and it's been great. I've really, his style and the way he does things has been a huge, like, good change for me. You know, I've been able to learn a lot of things and improve my style, you know, and just really kind of learn some really neat tricks. And yeah, I'm super excited about that, and it's been going super well with that. And then I still am at Jackson Zachman, work with Nick Urso, and he's always been great in terms of working with me and putting together drilling times and having a lot of partners. So it's been good. You know, it's been a good kind of thing for me to have different looks of things. Coach G's taken me up to BMF a couple times, and it's been very humbling experience, and I'm very grateful that I got to go there a few times and train with those guys. And then I've been drilling, like I said, at ACMA. It's been good. And then in terms of the future, now that I'm dropping my workload down to such a part-time basis, that I'm actually looking at going up to Colorado to train with Clay several days a week, possibly, and maybe going down to Houston, but really just trying to get into a full Muay Thai program, because I definitely have the ability to do it here. But I really want to push myself to another level and just work on building my skill set, improving what I have, and then, yeah, just growing from there. I mean, my hope is that as these fights progress, I'll be able to have just a solid running camp. And that's, I do, in my opinion, have that now. I definitely, the work is there. Everything I need is in place. It's kind of a bit scattered, which isn't really a problem, that works for me.
And now with this endeavor with Lion Fights, it doesn't begin right away, right?
Right. So I'm signed now. They did a few signings. I saw Joe Stripling got signed too, which is awesome. He fought on the same card as me. But my fights won't start till 2021. So the multi-fight agreement won't start till then. So it gives me a little time to prepare, which I'm definitely grateful and excited for, because it gives me time to sharpen up a bit.
Marc, how can everybody keep up with you on social media?
Yeah, so you can keep up with me at Marcavelli on Instagram. So that's Marckavelli. And on Facebook, it's Marc Entenberg. So last name is Entenberg. And yeah, those are the best ways to keep up with what I'm doing.
And if everybody wants to check out the supply company, how do they do that?
They would go to Mad Kingdom Co. on Instagram. Our website is themadkingdom.com. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a bunch of things that I post. We'll bring you right to that Instagram also.
Appreciate you taking some time out of your day to talk to me.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.